my daughter.
We need to like get into a good routine, or we can get like the kids in bed and we can get on at like 8:45, so we can catch up till 9.
Yeah, please, yeah, because I'm over here ordering pizza and all kinds of stuff.
Right.
I'm just like pizza and showers, and it's just a lot. Yeah, I got my muscle gun right here.
Only 2 more weeks, and then I can start going live anytime.
Yeah. Whew.
Do you get a reverb for me at all?
A reverb? What's that?
Audio, like.
Oh no, I'm good. Okay. You good?
I'm using my speaker instead of like headphones. So
okay, that sounds good.
No, we are here. Had a couple of people say, "Wonder if we're here." We're here.
Yeah, we just chatting, y'all. Sorry about that. Don't mind my curtain, y'all. My daughter is a nose. I have a nosy baby that does this right here. You should see the upstairs ones. She literally ripped the upstairs one off. Talked to him yesterday. Boom, boom, boom. Yes, we are here, y'all. We are here. We are here. The dream team. Marcy C. There you go.
Yeah, we are here.
Yeah, we are here.
I mean, really, it's probably because we haven't really talked much this week.
Yeah, I haven't really been in the group, or like I've been literally I got overbooked my one-on-ones because I told you my schedule got super opened up. So I've been like super overbooked, like just like back to back. I didn't want to counsel them. I was like, these people might need help. So I'm just like, I told my wife, I was like, look, I'm not counseling these. Like, we got to make it work.
Right. Did you get switched over to Calendly?
Oh no, not yet. Okay. I am. Like I said, I still got. I got my logo stuff I got to do tomorrow. Some real estate stuff. I'm about to start segueing stuff in that now. I'm gonna get a VA here soon. I'm trying to figure out what I need them to do though. Do they do subtitles on videos? I want to see if they do subtitles on YouTube videos because that's what I really need them for. Like
YouTube, you just have to click the button.
I know, but like say sometimes you can click the button, but sometimes it'll just pop up on its own if you do it in the back office. You can upload your own subtitle track.
Yeah, I mean, if you wanted to upload your own, normally I just wait for it to process and then I click add subtitles and it just adds them all for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, mine does like everything for the YouTube stuff.
Yeah.
And then everything you see on Instagram, Facebook, now LinkedIn, is all her.
Oh yeah, LinkedIn.
Yeah, no, I didn't want to touch it, so I said, "Hey, can you research LinkedIn, sign up, and start a thing for us?"
Yeah,
so she did. I was like, "That's awesome."
What is going on, beautiful people? Hope you're having a beautiful day today. Beautiful, beautiful day.
We just keep chatting until people put in some questions. But anyways, we're excited to be on here, be able to talk to you guys. So we're trying to see if we can be on here about every week on Wednesday from like 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. Just really answer some questions, help provide some support. So we got a question in from Lisa. It's for me. Raw motivations. Does he feel a sense of relief now that he's been on his way to recovery? If both you can answer, actually. Okay. So do we feel a sense of relief now that we're on our way to recovery? I think for me, like, there's like I guess kind of like a slight sense of relief of knowing what's wrong, and that's also like a positive thing as far as like, trying to work to get better, trying to change myself, trying to grow, trying to not be the asshole that I've been, that kind of a thing. But there is sometimes like a sense of like dread of like how much work it takes on like a day-to-day basis of like, sometimes it would be a lot easier not to be aware, but the aspect of like knowing and understanding everything that's going on. I guess for me, it's kind of like the idea of like embrace the struggle. Like I know that there's change because I'm struggling, where before life wasn't a struggle. It was easy, creating chaos and destroying other people's lives, but that's not what we're here for. So yeah, that's my answer.
So I completely agree with that one too, though, because like what you just said about sometimes it was easier being unaware. I agree with that because like it's just like you were living your life. You know what I mean? It was just like you were just living your life the way it was meant to be, like the way I felt it was meant to be lived. I felt like I wasn't doing enough, but I just feel like I didn't have all this stuff going on in my head. I was right now. It feels like every big decision I'm competing against myself. It's just like, should I do this? Is this narcissistic or is this normal? Which one should I do? I'm just like, right now, I just feel like I'm actively competing against myself. And like, I just feel like it was when I was unaware, it's kind of like my life was on co-pilot. When I look back at my life, I was there, I was coherent, but it's just like,
yeah, co-pilot.
Was that me? I was just like, that was me. I was there. I remember doing that. I remember being present in that moment. But when you look back at it, it's just like, was that really me doing that? And it's kind of like some of the stuff, some of the bad stuff you do kind of takes you back. You know, the shame kind of builds up, and it sucks. That shame sucks. You're like, ugh. Shake it off, you know, shake it off and keep it moving and whatnot, you know.
Right.
So.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Sarah mentioned something too. I don't know where she's come from, but I agree. I never saw an issue with my behavior until I tried to fix it. You know, once you see the behavior, then it's a whole nother ballgame trying to figure it out and fix it. Connie says, how do I get my ex with NPD to protect our children from his mother-in-law? Or is it hopeless? The hard thing is, like, that's kind of like asking like a narcissist who doesn't really do boundaries to put a boundary with someone else in his life. And so a lot of times, depending on how that dynamic is, if he can't see or identify that maybe the mother-in-law is toxic, there's really not going to be a good option for him to be able to come alongside and actually do that. You know, if he's in a family where the mom or the dad's narcissistic, then it's probably even going to be worse or like harder to get to that point.
So you said, how do I get my ex with NPD to protect our children from his mother-in-law?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so does the mother-in-law have NPD too, or just the ex?
Yeah, so especially there it says like the ex, but like I'm guessing maybe the mother-in-law has, or maybe the mother-in-law is a certain way.
Yeah, I mean, so if you protect your children, it's kind of tough right there. I just feel like so it's gonna sound like it's unfair, but I feel like you have to work harder on your end to reassure that your kids are getting enough validation, love, and affection on your end, and make sure that they don't, you know, they don't feel neglected by the other parent or by the other, you know, grandparents and whatnot. I just feel like there you go, right there. His mother-in-law is verbally abusive. Okay, I think that's all I put a comment in there. The mother-in-law is verbally abusive. Okay, I got you. I was just a little confused by that one. Look at Tony Banks about the second chance.
Yeah, we're gonna have to. I'm gonna have to get better at like firing these fast. Under what circumstances do you give a narcissist a second chance? For me, how I've always said it is when you're seeing honest vulnerability and consistent change. You have to see consistency to actually know that it's going to happen. And well, I guess another one is like all cards have to be off the table. Like you know, it'd be the idea of like you're going to give them a second chance if there's no chance of the relationship and they're still going to work on themselves. It has to come from them, not for an alternative motive or alternative reason.
So my saying is always consistent changed behavior. And I always say take the relationship off the table. If that person wants to go to therapy or get help before they come back, take the relationship off the table. Test them. Say no to them. If you say no to them, you learn more from saying no to people than you do by saying yes to everything. Say no to them, set your boundaries, and see how they react. That reaction will tell you if they're genuine or not. I don't really think this is going to work out with a second chance. See what they say. Rawr. They might go rawr. You don't deserve everything. You know, you might see who they really are by saying no to them.
Yeah. Hey, Katie, good to see you. Do you have a solid couple one-liner responses for a narc that wants to continue to attack and accuse and remind me that it is really all my fault? So I guess like a response to kind of like shut them up or a response to stop them in one sense?
Well, so I always say use discretion right here. Use discretion, but I just agree with everything. Cool, yep. But people are dangerous as hell. But if they're continuously attacking you and stuff like that, they might put their hands on you and get very, very dangerous. I was just like, if you cannot remove yourself from the situation or remove yourself from the space that they're in, just agree with them or just don't engage with them. Just
so kind of gray rock in one sense.
Yeah, just kind of gray rock in a moment. But or just like I said, you don't want to set them off if they're a dangerous person. They put their hands on you before. Like it's just it's kind of touchy feely right there. You don't want to just yep, super duper, and they hit you in the mouth. You just want to kind of play it by ear. You know the person better than we know the person. But if you're gonna remain in it, your reactions are your power in situations like that. You just kind of dictate how you let your reactions guide you. But don't. What did your boy say? Richard Granny. I think he said, "Observe, don't absorb." Listen, just listen to them. Don't absorb what they're saying because they're trying to hurt your feelings. Just observe them and see them for who they really are. in those moments of anger and rage, when they're saying the worst, the vitriol, the hatred, the anger, and they're just growling at you, that's who they really are. Don't take it in. Don't absorb it, because they mean it, but it doesn't make it true. They're trying to hurt you. They're trying to damage you, but don't take it in. Just see them for who they really are in this moment, and decide whether or not you want to continue on this process in this relationship dynamic or whatnot.
Jana puts up in here about the idea of supply. So now publicly, with your experiences getting feedback, interactions, etc., could be a different form of supply, although it's positive. So if what you're doing now, so like there's an aspect, like for me, as far as like narcissistic supply, like social media is not the fix for that. A lot of my supply in relationships was actual like relationships was for me, in my story, was the affairs, was the different affairs that I had, stepping out of my marriage and being with a person for 6 months, a year, that kind of a thing. And so like that was like my biggest form of supply. So online is not equivalent for me. It's not necessarily like addictive or anything like that either. It's more or less, I think there's an idea of like being fulfilled in an aspect of being able to work with people and see like the light bulb click on, or be able to work with people and be able to see them succeed. I think that's something that's really cool.
I feel like that's my supply right there. What you just said at the end, I love to see people win because I help them. I love that. It's just like, hey, Lee Hammock helped me win. I'm just like, oh, I love it. You know what I mean? I just like, and a lot of people see that as disingenuous. They're just like, well, Lee Hammock's a narcissist and he's helping people, so don't give him supply. When I'm literally saying I like helping people win, it's kind of backwards to go against me, But I really, really like helping people win. That's my power. That is my supply. I get validation, and it lets me know I'm on the right path when people comment and say, "Hey Lee, you saved my life. Hey Lee, you helped me do this. Hey Lee, you helped me progress, and you helped me see the light." I'm telling you, I love it. I just love it. I do love that. It makes all this worth doing for me.
Right. No, absolutely. D-Rock asks, why does the narcissist want you to respect their boundaries but don't respect you at all?
I feel like the double standards of a narcissistic relationship, though, right there. You don't get to do what they get to do. You just don't. Like, what they say does not apply to them. The rules that they say do not apply to them. It's like the king of of their jurisdiction. Like, the rulings that I make, the laws don't apply to me. They just apply to you. So yeah, you need to respect what I say and my boundaries. But again, the rules don't apply to me, so I don't need to do the same thing to you. It's not an equitable relationship with a narcissistic person. Yeah.
Right. That's kind of like the idea of like control. Is like the narcissist wants to be in control of everything, so they want to be in control of themselves to do whatever they want, and then control other people to limit what they do. And so it's almost like the idea of like they put a controlling aspect, a boundary on someone else, but they don't really care about what happens to themselves because they're already in control of themselves, supposedly.
Yeah. Control does play a huge part in it, though. It really, really does.
Haley asks, do they always come back even after walking away from a 4-year relationship? I think it's hard to say. Like, we've had people that have come back, 6 months, a year, 2 years, 5 years later, kind of a thing. So the goal with that is making sure you block so that they can't come back, and then also working on yourself so that if they ever do, you're prepared to look at them and be like, I'm not even attracted. Like, there's nothing there anymore because of the fact that I know who you are.
My personal longest Hoover was like 6-7 years. So I'm not saying that they all will do that, but I did. I literally did that for 6-7 years. Then I planned it out too. So it's just kind of like, again, that's my mind goes to a little different level sometimes of anger. But that's how I motivate myself, through anger. I'm just angry. I'm like the Hulk. Like, literally, I'm always angry. Like, literally, right. Always bad.
Did either one of you have neglectful or abusive parents as children?
So my mom was single mom, did everything she could. My dad, he was in the picture, but he was like the most present absentee father you could be. Like he was there, but like he lived with my grandma. So it's like we go to grandma's house to see him. And he was there, but he wasn't like actively parenting. He was like making other babies, you know, and doing stuff like that. So yeah, he was super neglectful. And that's the person whose love and stuff I sought out, but I never got, you know. That's the person who, you know, that's who I was aching to get approval from. He's like, I'm proud of you. Hey, you done your thing. Never got that. And it built a huge complex in me that nothing I do say would be enough for anybody. So that's where mine kind of came from. That's what my mom, yeah, she gets on my nerves here and there because, you know, they say one of the worst things you can do as an adult is to get to know your parents as grown-ups. You know, you see it like, you know, it can get a little wild right there.
Yeah. No, I would say like with mine, it wasn't necessarily like abusive or like neglectful as far as like not being there. Both my parents were present, but we were also like very busy in like the form of life that we were in. So there was just a lot of time that was devoted to the aspect of like work, and for us it was the aspect of like ministry and like how that focus was on like a day-to-day basis kind of a thing. Sarah put in, I feel like I might be a narcissist, but I'm not sure if I'm confusing myself for being toxic. How can you tell the difference if someone's toxic or a narcissist?
So you see in most of my videos, I always say narcissist or toxic person, because not every toxic person is a narcissist, and not every narcissist, don't crucify me, y'all, but like literally not every narcissist is a toxic person, you know. So I kind of separate the two here and there, you know. But toxic, you know, a lot of narcissistic people, most of them have toxic behaviors they've developed over time. But it does, you know, but a lot of toxic people look like narcissists. But like I feel like the difference doesn't matter. Are you willing to go get help and to alter your behaviors? That's really all that matters to me. You know, a lot of people just like, they've not been diagnosed as a narcissist. They're just really toxic. Like, what can I do to save them? Or what can I do to help them? I like the diagnosis doesn't matter. The title doesn't matter. It's always the behaviors that matter. And are they willing to alter those behaviors long-term, consistently, and get help? Or are they just like, I'm going to be me. I'm good being me. You have to deal with me. To me, that's what matters right there. Yeah. I know people gonna get mad and like Lee Hammock said, no,
well, here's another narcissist in the chat. So Ed said, good to see. He said he's a covert narcissist in therapy and becoming self-aware.
Oh, I actually love that right there. Awesome. Oh, covert. You know, people think I'm like, they're like, Lee, what are you? So I haven't watched any of Sam Backman's videos yet. I feel like I need to sooner or later. But like they say you can alternate between being a covert or an overt narcissist depending on your situation and depending on your environment. I feel like I alternate between the two. I'm more covert when I don't know people and the situation is uncomfortable. Or like when I get into a certain situation where I'm expected to be there, or like I'm the center of attention, then I'm more overt. I'm like, you know, I'm loud, boisterous, that type of stuff right there. I feel like I alternate because I see Jana Copeland ask the exact question I just answered. So there you go. Yeah.
If a narcissist isn't self-aware, do they realize what they're doing, lying, lack of respect, and not care, or do they just not understand? That would be the idea. If they didn't understand, then you would see that behavior shown everywhere, all the time. And I think there's an aspect that like there's some level of the narcissistic mindset that understands that sometimes what they're doing is wrong. Otherwise, why would they lie? You know, why would they hide it? Why would they, you know, do several different things like that? You know, you see them rage out to one person, but then they never rage out to all these other people, making that one person feel like they're like the crazy person for how they interact with them. So there's an aspect, I think Lee said before, that he thinks like the majority of narcissists are self-aware. They're just choosing not to, you know, acknowledge like what they're doing, but like they know what they're doing. Otherwise they wouldn't change around different people.
Yeah. So yeah, that's why I say I do feel like most narcissistic people are self-aware that they're doing wrong. That's why they try to hide it. You know, I mean, that's why they don't want you to go public with what they're doing to you or your experiences and things like that. And with them being self-aware, knowing the difference between right and wrong, it kind of lends into the fact that some of them don't care. You know, I know a lot of people don't understand it, but some of them don't care, and some of them don't understand. Like a lot of narcissists don't understand your feelings. It's like, and they don't want to hear it. So they kind of shut you down, you know, when you try to express your feelings to them.
Yeah. She asked here, what are your thoughts on filing a police report when they become violent or raging, knowing this will enrage them even more?
I'm filed that. Of course, I always say use discretion and protect yourself. The Second Amendment exists for a reason. So please, you know, I don't know what state you're in, what country you're in, use that. You know, get you one of those things that go bang bang and protect yourself. Because sometimes you might have to, it's either, sometimes it gets to the point where it's either you or them. And if you're too nice and you're too empathetic, it's going to be you. Do you want, are you willing to sacrifice yourself for this person because you love them so much? You know, and their whole thing, knowing this will enrage them, that's the point right there. They want you to be scared to do it. Yeah. Either way, they're going to be, I feel like either way, they're going to be mad. You said enrage them even more. So that either way, they're going to be mad already. So do what protects you. It's kind of like, damn, I'm damned if I do it. I'm damned if I don't. Do the damned that makes you feel the most secure. You know, if you go, pick the choice that makes you feel most secure, and always use discretion to protect yourself. You know.
No, absolutely. So, thanks so much. Appreciate it. Narc X has recently been trying to contact the girl he abused before me and myself, although previously no contact. She recently warned him she'd file a report. Is this an effective option? I mean, yeah, it could be a good option to be able to try to help with that. We kind of touched on that just a little bit here. But yeah, like it's really like being careful, like making sure you're not putting yourself in more danger, but then you do need to set boundaries. And sometimes that's the only way you can set a boundary is through that system.
Yeah, I agree with that. I feel like you just tackled that one completely.
Yeah, someone said NPD is the strongest genetic predisposition of any personality disorders. Do either of you have NPD in your family, grandparents, or parents? I think my parents have a little bit of like narcissistic traits or tendencies, but I wouldn't call either of my parents like narcissists or like full blown or anything like that.
So I feel like my dad is super emotionally unavailable. Is he a narcissist? I don't talk to him enough or be around him enough to know that, to tell that. But I know there's a history of mental illness in my family because my grandpa unalived himself when my dad was like 7 or 8 years old. He went in the bathroom at 5:30 in the morning and put a gun in his mouth. So yeah, I'm pretty sure my dad found him. So traumatizing. So you pass that down, you know.
I think you kind of answered this about kind of flipping back and forth.
Yeah. I can hear my daughter crying through the floor. Lord.
Can you explain why narcissists are so attracted by gifted person? I guess maybe someone who's like has a lot of emotion or empathy, or like they see the good in the other person. Maybe you can see that.
I feel like you got to rephrase them. I don't want to. I feel like this is kind of open ended right there. They could be a long winded answer right there. I also feel like in this situation right there, I feel like physical attraction plays a role in, you know, just the relationship. First of all, who you are personality wise, you know, that determines where it goes. You have a physical attraction, especially in online dating. The physical attraction comes first, and then whoever you are determines where the relationship goes. If you're an empath or you're gifted and you know, a highly sensitive person, and you end up with a narcissist, typically you're gonna lose that battle if you don't get out. If you have weak boundaries and things like that. But if you're a person with strong boundaries, you know it doesn't go that far. So I hope that.
This one, I realized that my ex is a narcissist and she just left me 2 months ago. No contact of 17 years.
Oof. It's no contact of like 2 weeks ago. I realized that my ex is a narcissist. She left me 2 months ago. No contact. I think after 17 years, I was 18 and she was 19. She ghosted me. Where do I start? So 17 years.
They're together for 17 years?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking right there. Ooh.
Okay.
Woo.
Yeah,
that's a lot right there. I'd say I would just say it's time to go see a therapist, honestly. You know, a trauma therapy, because that right there, that disconnect right there, that ghosting, that's where I feel like you start with a therapist right there. Because right there, it's just mad.
Yeah, I'd recommend like especially like that type of trauma, like EMDR. It's a really good one for some trauma. This is kind of like along the same lines with like Stephanie. How do you know if you need therapy to get over a narcissist? If you're with a narcissist, then I typically say you need therapy.
I feel like at the end you kind of answered your own question when you said this is not easy. That's when you know right there. If it's not, of course, it's not gonna be easy when you have kids and you thought this is the person you're gonna spend the rest of your life with. Of course, it's not easy based on that. But yeah, I feel like when you get out of a narcissistic relationship, a lot of gaslighting, a lot of manipulation, go see a therapist to sit down and talk to them. You know, help you work through that and get to the point where you want to be. Huh?
Do we believe older people can turn into narcissists? Can modern society, social media, and dating apps turn people into narcissists? Narcissists, from all the research and people that have been working on it, have narrowed down that it's developed early on in childhood, and then it isn't fully developed out of, the emotions, the how they process and things like that haven't been fully developed, leaving the ages of 3, 4, 5, 6 all the way up until like 13. And so the narcissistic traits carry on into adulthood. So you typically don't find someone who's, let's say, quote unquote, been an empath, the majority of their life, and then they have a bad experience, or they get, super high on all their social media stuff and all of a sudden turns into a narcissist. It doesn't, from what we've read and researched and understood from other people, research, it doesn't really work that way.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I just feel like it starts off early on. It may something might trigger it later on, I guess, but like I feel like it starts off early on.
Mm-hmm. Sarah said, I feel like you guys describing your childhoods disproves the theory that narcissists had it worse than empaths, and that's why narcissists choose the dark route.
Oh, I feel like I gave you the cliff notes of my childhood because this is a long, dark story. I feel like, the cliff notes don't sound as bad, but the real story, when you get deeper into it, with the physical stuff and the mental stuff, it gets a lot worse. I give you the cliff notes. Yeah,
mine, I don't remember all of it. So like mine, there's a lot of blanks.
What's your earliest memory? What's your earliest memory? So this is I feel like my life started when I was like 7 or 8 years old. I feel like I woke up on my birthday. When I was like it was 7 or 8. I woke up on my birthday. I was just like, I feel like literally I was born at 8 years old. I was just like,
right.
And I've been going since then. I feel like I knew my family and stuff like that, but I just feel like I had to learn so much more about life. It's like something that my therapist said something I have not repressed that kind of blocked out, but my earliest memory started at 7 or 8 years old. And it's literally like I woke up and started living at 8,
It's weird because I know like some people that they like remember stuff when they were like 1, 2, or 3. And I'm just like, I don't even like, that doesn't even like make sense in my head. Like that concept doesn't even make sense. I think probably like one of the freakiest things like working with like therapy was trying to like get back to some of like the past. And like when she was asking me one time, she was like asking me about like memories and stuff like that, and she was like, think of like an image. And I was like, okay. And she was like, what is it? And it took me a while to even find one, but like of like an image of my past. But then I was like, I don't know if that image that I'm thinking is from my own memories, is from other people telling me, or is from a photo in a photo album. Like I don't have anything to put around it that actually like links it to me.
Yeah.
It's weird.
I think so. You say that, I think a lot of my memories come from photographs. Just old photographs of me standing downtown in Reidsville, North Carolina, with like a little dandelion in my hand. I was like, how the hell I end up there? Just like it's just weird how you just said that. Yeah, but like I don't have it. Like I said, my mind is like completely blank before then. There's a blockage there. It's kind of frustrating, but like I feel like it's there for a reason. My brain is trying to protect me from something.
If you wrong a narcissist, will they try to get even, and will they eventually stop if they do? So if they're trying to get even, will they eventually stop? I mean, a lot of times they won't. They'll get so obsessed in righting that wrong and getting revenge and getting back at you. And it also depends. Some get even. Some go smear campaigns. Some do like, you know, some go away. You know, but that's very, very few. So you want to plan on them, you know, trying to get even, trying to get back, because a lot of times that is the mindset.
I'm a vengeance seeker. If you wrong me, sooner or later, I'm going to get you back. It might be years later. It's coming though. You know, it might not be as crazy as you think it is. It might not be anything life altering, but it's coming sooner or later. You know, but I plan a lot of stuff though. I saw somebody ask I was gonna say I saw somebody ask that question right there. So I've been diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder, but I do have a lot of sociopathic traits. So I think the deeper I go into therapy and the more I talk to my therapist, she might, you know, diagnose me as a sociopath. We'll see. But the self-aware sociopath doesn't sound good as a self-aware narcissist. So yeah, I'll always
yeah. I think for me, because of like narcissism being like on a scale in one sense, I think for me, like the cognitive and the analytical side of me, like lets me like at times like step into the sociopath world.
Mm-hmm.
Like where I can look at something, I can see something. I'm like, logically, if I do this, this, and this, that outcome makes sense. You know, it might be like a horrible outcome, but I'm like, that outcome makes sense. Now, am I going to act upon it? Am I going to do it? No. But like in that moment, you know, I could be like, that makes sense. You know?
I feel that way a lot of times when I'm watching movies and some brutal stuff will happen. And I was just like, I would have done the same thing. My wife was like, what? I was like, I say I would have done the same thing. I'm not going to do that. You know, just
right.
I get it. I'm not going to do it though.
Sarah asked again, what are some examples of narcissists versus having narcissistic tendencies? I think in one sense, like everybody has like tendencies at times, you know, everybody has a little bit of narcissism in them in one sense. I think the difference is that consistency. I mean, really it's consistency for change, but it's also consistency of still being one, you know, it's the idea of like how they're still lying, manipulating, acting, you know, versus it being like hit or miss kind of a thing.
Yep. So I feel that same way right there. I just feel like it's kind of like all narcissists have narcissistic tendencies, but not all people who have narcissistic tendencies are actually narcissists, you know, because everybody has narcissistic tendencies for, you know, just for survival, just for defense, you know, just for preservation. It's when those traits lean towards hurting other people or becoming completely self-serving to the detriment of other people. That's when you start to become like the narcissistic side right there, where you're just kind of like me first. I don't care how you feel as long as I'm happy. You know, I just feel like a lot of self-serving goes into that right there.
Yeah,
that thought process.
So I did a video on the other day, and they're asking about it. I did a short video that I said that the narcissist isn't codependent like on their partner, and this person says, if a narcissist can't be alone, then aren't they codependent to each person that they are with? I think the difference is like the definition of like codependent is not the same as what we're talking about a narcissist wanting to be with someone or not wanting to be alone. It's not the fact that they have to be with that person or with a certain person. It's the idea that they have to keep their image intact and they have to keep supply. So that doesn't mean that they're codependent on one person. It just means that there's a whole world out there of supply and they're just sucking the life out of whoever can swing by.
Yeah. So I would agree with that too, though, because like I said, codependency, like I'm not it doesn't get it from whoever, you know, it doesn't have to come from this one particular person. You know what I mean? It can come from whoever. That's why a lot of narcissistic people can't be alone. You know, I just like, you know, I say the same thing though. I just did a long video on that though. If a narcissist can't be alone, I don't like to be alone. Like, and I feel like on my journey of self-discovery and self-awareness, I feel like being alone actually helped me for a little while. My wife left. And yes, could I move on quickly and go find somebody else? Did I want to do that? Yes. I was like, I can't be alone in this house because the walls are echoing. My thoughts are my negative thoughts are bouncing off the wall and hitting me back. You know, I was like, I'm gonna go crazy. But I knew in that moment, I was just like, I have to face this. I literally have to face. Like, if I'm really on a journey of self-discovery, I have to face this. You know, being alone, I threw like I did some crazy. I threw my mattress out. I was sleeping on the air mattress, but you know, I throw up my king size bed. I put the mattress in the back of the Prius and threw them on the side of the highway. I was just like doing crazy stuff. I was like, I was spazzing out.
Yeah,
So, good times.
I feel like being alone for sure like activates like different stuff. For me, like part of it was like being alone, like whenever Kayla left, but then another part of it was being without supply. Because there's like almost like a change or a point where like Kayla wasn't that supply for a while, you know, and supply was other people, and then breaking the cycle of there not being supply, because all the like the cycle, the cyclical aspect of, you know, new supply, well, like that was like how it was like in my marriage. Like Kayla was there, but then there was new supply. So like the fact of like going so long like without new supply, you know, like even my therapist the other day, you know, like asked me, she was like, how long has it been that you didn't have a supply? Like when was the last time you can remember not having someone? And I was like, honestly, like I can't, like I don't remember when that wasn't a constant. And like being able to tell her and us like look at like how many days it's been, how many months, how many whatever, now though, being without that supply and being like, oh, like there is some progress there because it's not happening. You know, that's the goal, obviously.
Yeah. So yeah, I agree with that though. Honestly, I just like the aloneness. Like I said, my battle was like I wanted to face the aloneness. You know, I was just like I need to do this. It's like again, I challenged myself to weird stuff. I was like I'm gonna be by myself for a little while. It's gonna hurt. It's gonna be annoying. But you know, I actually had it because my wife was still friends with me on Facebook and stuff like that. I had to mute her profile, and I didn't block her or remove her. I had to kind of silence her stuff because if I saw it, it would set me off. I was just like, you know, be you. And I started reading the Bible to y'all, so the Bible helped.
Deborah says, how long healing over the length of time you spent with a narc? Like 18 years, got 20 years to heal mess. Maybe if there's like a ratio, like if you're with the narc like a year, then it takes 2 years to heal or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
I think a lot of times with healing, like especially with like the people that I talk to on like one-on-ones or like working with people through like different scenarios, like people heal like two things. People heal at completely different rates. And so comparing one to another doesn't work. And then the second thing is people heal as fast as the work that they put in.
Mm-hmm.
So like I've seen some people that are like, I just want to heal, but they're unwilling to get vulnerable about who they are and what they're struggling with. Those are the people that take like the slowest to heal. And then the people are like, hey, like I'm broken. I don't know what to do. Like, I'm like, okay, let's work on this. And like we start setting up a plan, and you see that healing when they start implementing systems like every single day. Those are the people that like see substantial change really fast because they put in the work.
Yep. And yeah, just to add on what you said, healing is not linear, y'all. In comparison is the thief of joy. If you compare your healing journey to somebody else's that's ahead of you, you'll think you're not. You like it's like, oh my goodness, they've been out 6 months and I've been out 6 months, and they found love, and I'm sitting here still in the trauma bond, and like maybe I deserve to be with this person. You go back. Don't compare your relationships. Don't compare your healing journey to somebody else's, because like I said, it's not linear. Yours is going to go up, down, back, forth. You can make it. Just stay the course, stay on the journey, stay on the beat, stay on the path, you know.
Trying to catch up. These comments are
heavy coming in.
There's a good one. If someone stabbed your loved one, would you feel empathy?
I think I don't think I would feel empathy. I think the first thing I would seek vengeance and anger. I feel like anger would be the first thing to come up. You know, I don't know. I just feel like when I feel empathy, if they stab them right beside, I just feel like what are the circumstances right there? Am I not around? Do I get a phone call just like, hey, your brother just got stabbed? Who did it? You know, that's what I feel like. First of all, is he okay? Okay, who did it? That's how it goes. Like, if he's okay, then it goes to who did it. If he's not okay, it also goes to who did it. Like, who did it is the second question. You know, I seek again. I'll tell you, I seek vengeance. Vengeance is, you know.
That's an interesting question. What is your guys' advice to deal with a narcissist tries to blame you and tell you're the narcissist? I feel like I question myself now every day that I'm the bad one.
You're the narcissist. You're the narcissist. So I feel like, how did that word get brought up into the house? I just feel like if you said it first, you kind of opened the door for this retaliation right here. That's why people tell you, when you find out about narcissism, the first thing you don't want to do is go tell your partner that you think is a narcissist. Hey, look, I just saw raw motivations on TikTok, and I think you might be a narcissist. Huh? No, actually, I watched a couple of videos, and you're actually the narcissist. You set yourself up right there. You know, like I'm telling you, like narcissist TikTok, narcissist Instagram, YouTube, whatever, is like the Fight Club. You don't tell people about the Fight Club. You know, you learn, you have fun in the Fight Club, and you use it to your advantage. I just feel like telling somebody they might be a narcissist, if they turn around and try to gaslight you into being a narcissist, that shows you that they're not willing to put the work in. So, are you willing to put the work in? Are you willing to change your behaviors if you are the narcissist? Answer those questions right there. I feel like that'll help you on your journey of, again, self-discovery of empath or narcissist.
Yeah, very true. Someone's at my ex-narcissist. I cannot talk. My ex-narcissist would constantly put himself down, saying he was a loser, monster, broken, etc. Is he doing that because he believed it, or is it just manipulation for me to feel sorry for him?
So that's called self-deprecation right there, and that's manipulation.
I was like, when I read it, you had like a smirk of like, yeah, I know what that is.
Yeah, that's super self-deprecating right there. It's just like, I'm sorry, I'm not good enough for you. I'm sorry, I'm such a bad person. I'm
like,
sorry.
Oh, no, you are.
Yeah. So yeah, agree with it. Because if you look, because right here, if I say I'm sorry, I'm such a monster, and you don't agree with me, then you automatically agree with the opposite. So if I say I'm sorry, I'm such a monster, and if you say no, you're not a monster, then you just said I'm not a monster. So I'm no longer a monster. So you can't bring that up. You just said it, right? You just said I wasn't a monster. I tried to admit to it. You said, no, you're not a monster. So now you got it. Now you lose. Self-deprecation, putting themselves down is a backhanded way of trying to seek validation from you. You know, don't fall for it. Agree. Like, yes, you are a monster. You know, agree with it. Like Ben just said, like, you know, agree with it. It's like, you are. You are that monster, you know. So agree with them. That's what I do. I always agree. Yeah. But like I said, I always say, always use discretion, y'all. Because some of these people are crazy as hell and violent. You know, you never know what people are going to do when they're back into a corner, or the threat of losing you is put onto the table. So always, y'all, use discretion against some of these crazy. Some of these people are crazy. I'm just telling you. Am I one of them? No, I'm not that level crazy. But you know, some people are just like,
right.
You know, get violent.
This person said, insight you provide from the side of the narc is valuable, but everything feels like high alert. Does your wife ever speak at length about her journey to regain confidence in her reality? So my wife spoke a little bit on, I think we did like one live together. I know Lee's wife has been on a couple times on lives. Those are on your YouTube and everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I know there's a couple aspects there. My wife opened up her schedule. She doesn't have much, but she did open up her schedule a little bit. If you go to rawmotivations.com, that she has a couple times available where she does meet with people. And a lot of times that is like trying to share about her journey, and also like try to be able to help encourage people of how they're growing, how they're changing, how they're either getting out of it or how they're healing after it. That's kind of like the area that she kind of talks to people about. This one popped back up because there's going back to the codependency. If you can't be alone, then you're codependent on everything. What is your definition of codependency? So I like looked up codependency just so we could get like a definition just to see. And then it says codependency definition: excessive emotional or psychological reliance on a partner, typically one who requires support on account of an illness or an addiction.
I feel like that's kind of on the spot, right? I need to think on that one.
Yeah, I mean, so it's not like you're relying on them for emotional needs.
So I just feel like when narcissistic supply is it emotional needs? I don't know. I just always feel like, what type of validation are you seeking from somebody else? You know, Is it emotional validation? I feel like it could be physical validation too, though. You know, it just I feel like there's a longer video right there. Just like they has my mind turning. I had to do more research, y'all.
Yeah, if you throw in or psychological reliance on a partner.
Yeah.
Like, are you relying? I guess in one sense, are you relying on that partner for validation?
Yeah, you're codependent on everything. What is your definition of codependency? Okay, yeah, I'll come back to that one, y'all. I was just like, I might have to do a longer video on that one.
That's a good question. Let's see.
I like when the mind gets to wondering. I like when people make me think.
How do I get a narc to stay away when you have kids and grandkids involved? So a lot of times, like, to stay away, I mean, it depends on your situation. If you're divorced and everything and there's no tie there, then you can, block, go no contact. If it's stuff with like having to switch kids, things like that, that's a whole nother ball game of trying to go no contact or the best you can to be able to go that way. But as far as like getting them to stay away, the only way that you can get them to stay away is to go no contact. If it's something where they're dangerous, that's when people start taking out like restraining orders, protective orders, things like that.
Yeah. So I would agree on like everything you just said. Though I just feel like kids and grandkids are always going to be the end for a narcissistic person. They just are. That's just leverage forever. So as I said, when you're dealing with narcissists and toxic people, the kids could always be used as leverage for some reason.
There's Sarah. She had a comment I think earlier, but she was with a self-aware sociopath. But I think the key right there is like he admitted it, but he never did apologize. Kind of gives that idea of like there's people out there that are self-aware, they just don't care.
Yeah. So he said he was diagnosed after we got divorced, and he admitted it along with doing his step for AA. So admitted it, but never did apologize. What kind of apology were you expecting? I just feel like just because you become a self-aware doesn't mean you apologize. Because like I haven't went back and apologized. Like I think this is one of the main questions we get on TikTok and on all the social media. It's like, have you ever went back and apologized to your victim? I just feel like, I think I watched a video the other day on that. I just like if that person is still constantly and currently in my life, yeah, I try to sit down and have a conversation with them about what I've been through and try to genuinely apologize and show that person I'm going to be better. But somebody from 15, 20 years ago, it just seems like, that person could be healed and on a journey of self-development on themselves. And then, Lee Hammock reaches out and is like, hey, I just want to apologize. It re-triggers that person, It just seems like, too little, too late. And I feel like my apology to that person and to the world is just trying to help as many people as possible. That's just how I feel about going forward and things like that.
Yeah, I know I had some people comment on that video being like they would absolutely not like it if their ex-narcissist reached out to them to apologize because of the healing that they've been working on without having that person in their lives.
Yeah.
So I've been with the narcissist for 6 years. He discarded me after I kicked him out last month because I wanted him to change. Then he ran and filed for divorce. Why is he contacting me now?
That's it, kind of like the you didn't break up with me, I break up with you, because you said you kicked him out, but he discarded you. So how does that work right there? Did you kick him out under the guise that was it like a kick out with conditions? Like you can only come back if you change, you know what I mean? Because that right there, he's just like, you know what? I'm not changing anything. Take me for what I am and file for divorce. But he's contacted you now, which shows you that he didn't really want to file for divorce. I feel like when you kicked him out, you kind of forced his hand. He's like, well, I'm going to file for you. Going to kick me out. Well, I'm going to take it to the next level. I'm going to one up you. I'm going to file for divorce. But now he's contacted you because he doesn't really want to get divorced. But also probably doesn't want to put the work in either. Just you have to, if you want to take him back, you're going to have to accept him for who he is. Yeah. Yeah. There you go. There you go right there. That's my answer.
Trying to catch up. Did your question get skipped because you haven't donated? Nobody's donated today, and I don't know. I don't see your question, so I'm sorry if I've missed it. I'm only one person trying to keep track of hundreds of comments.
Yeah. I saw somebody say, like, look at this. I think somebody said that they were really smart. I thought somebody, I'm really smart.
Oh, yeah, that was Sarah. I was going to respond to that because that was in follow-up of the one that she just put. Yeah. She put, I'm actually really smart, not to be snotty. But anyway, it still confounds me on how he managed to brainwash me. Well, I mean, yeah, it makes sense. And a lot of people struggle with that after the fact. You know, like, I'm smarter than this. Like, I should have known. And the thing is, like, you have to give yourself grace. And you have to actually take a step back and be like, you know, sometimes I was just talking to somebody 2 days ago on like a one-on-one, and like they were like, you know, how could I be so stupid to stay with this person so long? And I'm like, the knowledge you have right now, this moment, the knowledge that you have right now, did you have this knowledge about narcissists, sociopath, toxic people? Did you have this knowledge 2 years ago? And they're like, no. Like, did you know everything about the narcissist that you know about now? Did you know about red flags? Did you know about lying, gaslighting, manipulating, all this stuff? Did you know about that stuff? And they're like, no. And I'm like, then why are you holding yourself to that standard 2 years ago? Because you didn't have the education, didn't have the knowledge of that. And so in reality, it doesn't matter how smart, what your level of whatever is. Like, it doesn't matter how smart you are. But really what it comes down to it is you got played by someone who intentionally manipulated. You know, whether that's, you said you had a sociopath, whether it's a sociopath, psychopath, narcissist, like the idea that they put certain things in your path that was going to trap you, like no matter what. And without having the education, the thought of understanding about it, there's no way you could have known. Yep. You can't hold yourself. You can't hold yourself in shame about that.
So I've done a lot of one-on-ones with actual clinical therapists, you know, that help people deal with narcissistic personality disorder, help survivors and victims. I had a few of them, like quite a few of them. Like they hopped on the Zoom. I had to go Google them, and they on Psychology Today. And there's like, and I asked them, I was like, you specialize in narcissism. It's on your website. And she was like, I don't know everything. She's like, if I think that I know everything, then I'd be stupid. She's like, because that's how people get caught up. You think you're too smart, or you think you're too good, or you think you're too educated on narcissists. That's when they trick you, because you think you know all the red flags. You think you know everything. So you slip up. It's like, is that a red flag? No, I'm too smart for that to be a red flag. And then you kind of let it slide by you, and then you end up getting manipulated. You know, so your smartness can work against you sometimes. Yeah.
I had one tell me the other day. She was like, when you go through school, they don't educate you on this. Yeah. Like they tell you like the overall framework, but like seeing it even in the DSM-5, like seeing like, hey, these are the traits versus like how it actually comes out. She's like, they don't prepare you for this.
Yeah. I say, do you have a different knowledge base now, just based on your life and where you've been in the situation that you've experienced now? So now, if you get tricked again, then you're just like, doop, 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 you know. Yeah, I thought, like I said, plenty of counselors and therapists. It's kind of crazy. They always, and I follow them. They be commenting on my stuff now, and they'll verify. They'll say just like, I thought I knew everything. I thought I was too smart, and I end up getting tricked because I thought I knew it all. And that person used their knowledge against me, and they just do it, you know.
Right. Should you call a narc out on his lies?
What's the goal? What would be what's the end result you're looking for? Like if you're on the way out the door, no, does it really matter? But if you are going to stay with that person, I just feel like calling them out on their lies ends in arguments and no resolution regardless. So I just feel like the type of person you're dealing with matters in that situation. You know,
almost like the idea too, like if you call them out on their lies with the thought of, hey, this is going to have a boundary, this is going to have a consequence, and I'm going to know, you know, like if I do this and they respond this way, it's going to promote like a response from me. Like if I call him out on his lies and he continues to lie, then, you know, I'm done. You know, like something like that is almost like testing the waters of like, hey, is there going to be any aspect of remorse or change here? No, then not, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Jenica asked one earlier, and she kind of followed up of narcissist networking. Do we see a network of narcs supporting each other and gaslighting victims? That's a new one. I haven't seen that.
What I meant by networking was, do you see a network of narcs supporting each other and gaslighting victims? Like men Ben or gaslighting you right now. And no, I don't know. I don't see a bunch of self-aware narcissists getting together talking about, you know, world domination and manipulating people like that. You know, could it be a dark triad convention? Possibly, yeah. You know, you just never know with people. They might be a bunch of unaware narcissists plotting this out and things like that. You know, but I don't see a lot of self-aware narcissists teaming up and, you know, just like, you know, we're gonna gaslight the world together. Just stay the course.
This is the comedy lesson. I asked if people with NPD would go as far as to try and give you something like HIV to add layers. I guess maybe layers of control.
So a lot of narcissistic people don't believe in it, or they just risk it and don't use protection. So they will intentionally give you herpes, HIV, or something, an STD or something incurable, because they feel like, you know, why me? Why do I have to have it? Why not you? Why not Cali Boy 421? He deserves some HIV. He just give it to you on purpose, knowing that they're infected, and give it to you. And then when you tell them your test comes back positive, they're like, "What? You got HIV? Right. I need to go get tested," and they've been positive the whole time. So, yeah, you gotta be careful who you trust out here. Some people, they will give you shit on purpose just to trap you. It's just like almost the equivalent of giving you a baby. You get an incurable STD. You feel like you have to be, and they convince you that you have to be with them forever. You're like, well, nobody else is going to want you. You got HIV. Nobody else is going to want you. Nobody else is going to want you. You got herpes. Who's going to want you now? That's how someone will trap you on purpose with an STD. Yes, they will do that.
And I would say on this, without like anybody putting a bonfire on me, but I would say with some people that have BPD, that they'll actually go to the point where they're purposely trying to do something like this in like a revenge aspect. Because one girl, okay, I'm gonna say this, one person that I talked to just the other day diagnosed BPD. She's been in therapy for over 7 years, doing some amazing work. But like she had like the idea of like when she wasn't in therapy, like before she was self-aware and things like that, she would do intentional things. Like, I'm going to get back at this person by sleeping with this person. So like this same aspect would be like, I'm going to get back at this person by giving them something, you know?
Yeah.
Moving on. Dude, BPD is a scary subject. I'm still traumatized when everybody attacked me.
I'm telling you. Good God, boy.
Oh gosh. Where we are.
Kitty, what'd you say legal?
Oh, Callie, well, you're good. Appreciate it. How'd you guys know your wife was the one and wanted to commit to? This kind of baffles me. If narcissists are so bad, how do your wives make it work? I know at least from my perspective, right now it works because she has more love and more Jesus in her to be able to put up with me.
How did I know my wife was the one? I don't know. I like to, so I don't know. This is, you know, that's a good question, because like I just feel like to me, she gets it more than anybody else. You know what I mean? And to me, she's survived the craziness and the terrible version of me. So I feel like it would be just, you know, in my level of self-awareness now, it'd be just awful for me to be self-aware and treat somebody else better than I treated her. So I feel like she deserves the best version of me right now that I can be, as opposed, because she had the worst of me. So I feel like she deserves the best of me. So I try my hardest to make it work, because I feel like she deserves this version of me more than anybody else. You know what I mean? And my, you know, just previous people that are still in my life, even my oldest son's mom, I try to, you know, make amends to her by doing things for her to show them, like, hey, look, I'll do this. I'll help you out do this. You know what I mean? I try, because I know these people are still in my life, and I don't want people to just make it seem like, oh, like, I don't want to give the next person everything I should have gave her, you know, like, you know, like most narcissistic people would, you know.
Yeah. So that's awesome. That's a really good way to put it. I don't know that I have a good answer either for, you know, how did I know like she was the one? You know, that one's to me, that's kind of a difficult one to be able to put my finger on for sure. You know, for me, like My wife makes it work because of the idea that she left, got her confidence, and knew she didn't need me. I mean, when she left, she already had like a job lined up. Like she was moving out of state, like everything. Like it was like a done deal kind of thing. And then like her coming back and wanting to still be with me didn't have anything to do with her like saying like, oh, she couldn't live without me. It was more or less on the idea of like she saw that I was putting in the work. Mm-hmm. And that I was changing regardless of what she was going to do, and I was going to continue changing regardless of what she was going to do. So for her, like the idea of like having those boundaries and breaking free of like that trauma bond to the point of like, you know, hey, like he can't keep me here, and if he does anything, like I feel confident to leave, and I don't really care. Care as in like I don't feel stuck where I'm trapped with this person.
Yeah. I would agree with that right there. I think my wife has said something very, very similar to that right there.
Thanks so much.
I would 100% agree with that though. I think because she doesn't feel like she's trapped there. She can, like, again, I don't make her feel trapped. I'm like, you know, she can come here right now. She's like, hey, I'm leaving. Oh, man. You know, it would suck. Yeah, it would definitely suck. It would get on my nerves and anger me. But I would still go to therapy, y'all. I wouldn't become the narcissistic demon that you think I am. So trust me, you know.
Right.
But it would suck. But I feel like she doesn't feel trapped. I would agree. I think she would agree with that statement as well. What you just said, that you know, Kayla said.
I thought I was getting to the bottom of the comments, and then I scrolled, and it just like loaded more, and so I was like, oh,
yeah.
So, we're not gonna be able to get to all these tonight, guys. Sorry. We're gonna like wrap up here in the next couple minutes because right now we're just committing to go like 9 to 10 on Wednesdays. Right now with our schedule's hectic, but mainly mine. Mainly mine as far as like I'm the only one like limiting it. Like Lee would probably be like, hey, we can do more, but I'm just like,
I know. I'm vibing with you. I don't say when I'll be going live with you. I haven't been live on TikTok and Instagram. I mean, I could go live. I just don't be feeling like it unless I'm talking to you, unless I'm vibing. You know, I just like It's just weird. It's not sitting here going live, just reading comments, talking to yourself. Sometimes you're just like, hey, Lisa, thanks for your transparency, guys. Like, you know, appreciate it.
Right.
Yeah. He doesn't let them out.
Yeah, I think I've still been making it on Thursday night. So Wednesdays and Thursdays have been the only nights I've been going live. And I want to say last Thursday, I feel like I was live with someone. I don't remember. I think it might have just been on TikTok. Yeah, I think it was just on TikTok last Thursday. So I think that's probably what I'll do tomorrow too. I don't know. I kind of debate going back and forth.
Yeah, going live with them on TikTok.
Yeah. TikTok is like fun to be live on. Not that like other platforms aren't as fun, but I feel like there's more people on TikTok that have known me longer or seen my journey longer. Than there is.
That's what you got your base. That's your base at. That's your that's where you get started. That's what I feel like social media is a tree and TikTok is where your roots are right now. It's like TikTok is the roots of your tree. You know, even though you do other stuff and you're branching out, you're doing big things on YouTube. You got Facebook is growing, your Instagram is growing. Your Instagram is going at a pretty fast rate, too, honestly. I saw it. I was like, God damn, like, man.
I clicked like 30,000.
Yeah, you bought 30K. I was like, whoa. I was like, oh, damn. Yeah.
I honestly need to take the time and go live on that every once in a while, but I haven't been live on that in forever. I used to every once in a while. Before I started using even like StreamYard, I used to go live on TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram at the same time. And I just go live on YouTube on my computer, and then I'd have like my phone and like another phone like set up like side by side and be talking to like all three at the same time. But I stopped doing that when I got kicked out of my Instagram on my second phone, and I just never took the time to like get it back in.
Yeah.
But
yeah, there is no bottom. So who said something like somebody said there is no bottom to the chat? Yeah. I appreciate all y'all clicking on though. Kathleen, do you feel empathy when your daughter cries? Yeah, so empathy is my tough thing. Do I feel why is she crying? First of all, I feel like why is she crying? Is she in pain or is it just a cry? Is she just like if she's in pain, then yeah, I feel empathy. But like if she's just randomly crying, it's just kind of hard to get there. Empathy is not my standpoint. I mean, my wife's my father-in-law, his dad just passed away. I'm just like, man, it sucks. But I'm just like, I gotta, send a message and just like, hey, sorry for your loss. I'm just like, it's still hard to connect to that, y'all, because it's not my loss personally,
But
so
it's like cognitive empathy.
Yeah, I get it. That's what I tell people. I get it, but it's still hard to connect with them.
Vicky, hey, good to see you. Sorry, you're just missing the most of it, but you can watch it it'll be on YouTube. But yeah, no, I think a lot of it is like cognitive empathy. So like, probably like the best example I have is Sophia. Is probably like a couple of weeks ago now. She was trying to open up like the guest room door, and like she was like struggling with the doorknob, and so they got frustrated, and so she just kind of like reared back and like hit her head into the door, and then she like started crying, and like my first response was like, "Well, what'd you expect?" And my wife was like, "No, that's not very empathetic," and I'm like, "Okay," but I'm just like, you hit your head in the door, like you're gonna cry, but so we're still work in progress.
But yeah, it's still it literally is, what I mean? It really is work in progress. Like I said, that's so honestly, I know self-awareness can bring pain, it can bring suffering, it can just bring annoyance. But like I just feel like there's always something to look forward to, like the growth. It's literally a journey. I'm telling people on my one-on-ones, I was like, it's a healing journey. It's like one foot in front of the other. It's not a destination. You can't get there. You can't fly there. You can't hey, one ticket to healing, please. You can't do that. You have to go there. You have to travel there. And right. Everybody's journey is going to be different. Everybody's at different walks of life. Everybody comes from different places. It's one foot in front of the other. Sometimes it's baby steps. It takes you longer to get there. You might have a size, 4 shoe. It's gonna take you longer to get there than somebody with a size 15 that's got long strides. Take your time, heal, and like I said, and some people say enjoy the journey. Like I'm not gonna enjoy this pain. I'm not talking about the pain. I'm talking about the growth. The result of the pain is growth. It's just like you working out. The result of the pain can either be a huge scar across your chest, or it can be a huge muscle from working out. You know what I mean? What do you feel like? How you look at it? How you feel it?
Yeah. Absolutely. Anyways, all right. I'm gonna wrap us up here. Thank you all so much for popping on and watching. Sorry we couldn't get to all the questions. There was a lot of questions that popped up. So sorry we couldn't get to all those. I know there's a bunch, but
we can get on this. We're gonna get a third person in here or something like that. We gotta get somebody here to mediate it. We're getting better, y'all. We're gonna learn this thing and get this.
We're getting there. I actually did. I totally forgot. I literally texted Bree like right before we got on. I was like, oh crap, I forgot, because I actually was sending her an email to with StreamYard. You can bring someone in on a team. You can bring like one extra person. So like my login, I can bring one extra person. So I actually was talking to her to be able to set it up where I could bring her on as a team and she could co-host and basically be the person in the background and clicking all the buttons to.
Oh, okay, cool. That's cool. Okay,
that might make it a little bit faster. We should do like too bad we can't put like a timer on the screen. We should do like speed rounds.
Yeah, we're gonna get better at this, y'all. We're gonna hone it down. Y'all be like, hey, I remember when they first got started, it was just rough. They answered a lot of questions, but it was rough.
the first live, we probably answered like 6 questions total. We'll get there.
Yeah, get cluster B milkshake. Oh, Sarah, I gotta hit Sarah up. She be going live sporadically. I'll be seeing Sarah live on here. Get some names on here. And were your kids informed about your diagnosis or taught to avoid being gaslit? So my son is like my oldest son. He's always around me, so he follows me on TikTok and stuff like that. He sees me when I'm in public. Like we were literally walking in the food line the other day, and somebody's like, hey, you that guy from TikTok? And he was like, yeah, this is mental illness. So he follows my stuff, y'all. He sees it. He knows. He sees the work that I'm putting in, y'all. So we're trying. The only thing you can do is try.
It's awesome. Well, thank you, everybody. So if you guys don't follow us, obviously follow us. But Lee and myself, we both have one-on-ones. We talk to people to help like either provide closure or to help work through some of the traumatic events. We're not psychologists, we're not therapists, we're just people on here sharing our story, trying to help out the best we can. So if you guys don't follow on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all that jazz, we're all over the place. So
everywhere.
But yeah,
LinkedIn too. Ben's on LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn too, but it's not on. My LinkedIn is kind of sporadic. It's like
it's very new. It's very new. So we're getting there little by little. Anyways, thank y'all. Y'all have a great night. If you guys are around tomorrow night, I'll be going live tomorrow night. At least on TikTok. I'm not sure about all the others, but we'll see. Yeah. Tomorrow night I'll be live.
I might be live too, y'all. We'll see, y'all. I'll be going live sporadically. I have to get my schedule down packed. It's coming soon. I got my remarkable too, thanks to Ben. But
yeah. Cool. All right, y'all have a great night.
I appreciate it, y'all. All right, Ben, man.